Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 9. Initially, this episode was part of Episode 8, but I separated it because it got to be a very long episode. So we're going to go ahead and start it from here. Alright, guys. I am back. Good morning. It is Thursday morning, and I am on my way for the day. Unfortunate that yesterday I couldn't really get out. I think this is better. I can get a lot of time in today. I'm leaving early. I was delayed slightly by one of my kids missing the bus. So I had to drop them off, and then I had to backtrack 2 miles to get gas, which cost me a little time. Actually, I didn't even remember about this gas station right here that I'm passing right now. I didn't have to backtrack. It would have been a little more money, but it would have been worth it. Anyway, I am on my way now. I am going to arrive at my first casino 20 minutes before an hour and a half worth of meetings. So I'm going to run in there and hit all the high points, the easy stuff. And if I have time, go back and look at the finer points. This casino at this time of day is not going to have a lot anyway, so I'm not too stressed about it. And I will be back this direction tonight, so I will be able to hit it tonight. This casino did have some must-hit-by slots that I've been watching, but I'm sure most of them have already been taken after the last couple days, so I don't think I'm going to catch those. If they are available, I will camp out and I will take them, so that's always there. Today the goal is to play at least 3 sessions of blackjack, hopefully 5 sessions of slots, and I would love to make $3,000 today. I think that's a very possible goal, and that's going to be the goal for the day. I do need to be home in about 11 hours. Maybe 10 and a half hours. So I'm going to have about 4.5 hours, maybe 4 hours of actual playtime, and I'm going to lose half an hour to meetings that are going to be during times when I'm not traveling. So when I leave this casino, I'll have an hour and a half in meetings and only an hour drive. So, and one of the meetings is usually over early, so I may not actually lose any time at all. Last night I focused hard on work and got a lot of things done, although not ideally the way I wanted to get them done, but they did get done, so got those out of my way. Yeah, we'll see how things go. I'm not really sure what this first meeting is about, but the second meeting is a team meeting. So actually, I know what the first meeting is. I'm going to do that on the way. Second meeting I'm not sure about. Third meeting is a team meeting, and then we'll start playing blackjack. So letting you go for now, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. This is proving to be tougher than I expected. Alright, so as I'm driving this direction, I'm starting to see snow on the ground, and then more snow on the ground, and then it starts to rain, and then it starts to snow. And right now it's 34 degrees, but it's snowing, so it's not going to last. I get to the casino half an hour before my meeting, so I'm in good shape, and I'm ready to go. About a week ago, when I was at this casino, they were working on some problems at the street in front of the casino, and it was a utility job that they were working on. And they must have known what was going on, so I'm really pretty shocked that this happened. But I pull up to the casino, and the casino is closed for 12 hours today. So it will be open, hopefully. Well, no, not even on my way home, because I should be beyond this casino on my way home. So this is bad news. So I just lost 2 of my 5 stops that I had scheduled for today. And I had a little bit of free stuff today that I could have used, but here we are. So I wanted to mention something though that happened to me yesterday that I forgot to tell you about. So I'm looking at slot machines, just going from one to the other, and I see a card on a slot machine, like it looks like a business card. So I instantly assume it's a player's card, and I'm interested in player's cards because sometimes, even if I'm the highest level at a casino, I don't want to use my card to get into a parking place, or I don't want to use my card to do something. I want someone else's card. So I'll pick them up and look at them. So I picked this one up, and it was not a casino card. It was not a business card. It was a laminated card, and it had a phrase, actually a quote written on it. And this quote came from C.S. Lewis, and it said, "It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it." So let's reflect on that for a second here. It's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it. So I just want to say, I probably have such a heavy burden, and it's probably more than most of the people. I'm not trying to downplay your problems, but it's probably more than most of the people listening to this podcast. I have multiple people in my family with health problems that I'm worried about, and financially supporting, and physically supporting, and taking to doctor's appointments and things like that. I have my own health problems that I've been struggling with for a couple of years. Financial problems due to those other things, where my load every month is such a heavy burden that I'm basically playing to break even at the levels that I'm playing and the amount of money that I'm winning. I may be doing some work on the house. We might be going on a vacation here and there, but I'm not really building up money. And how do you take your burdens? How do you address your burdens? How do you deal with your burdens? I just want you to reflect on that. And I don't know how much you know about C.S. Lewis and who he was, but he was born in Ireland, and he was a novelist, author of a lot of books you may know, and got into Christianity and became a big writer on Christianity, and eventually, because of a friendship that he developed with J.R.R. Tolkien, he became a Catholic, and actually there's some really important writings by both of these men. So, maybe look at his life a little bit and what he went through in his life, and maybe it'll be a guide for you. So, I don't want to make this into a big thing here, but right now I am totally screwed. My next I'm already driving here, obviously. My next meeting is in 22 minutes, and I have an hour and a half of meetings. So ideally, what could happen is I go through that meeting, and maybe the meeting after that, which is an hour long, might be cut to 20 minutes, and I may only be sitting in a parking lot for 10 minutes, but otherwise I may be in a parking lot as much as 45 minutes or more. So unfortunate I couldn't get any play in there, but there's nothing I could do about it. So we're going to move on, and we're going to keep our chin up, and we're still going to make money today. I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. I'm actually in the casino right now. I walked in after the first meeting because the second meeting was canceled, which is really good. Glad to hear that happened, and that's going to give me a lot more time in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do my thing in here, and then I'll be back and let you know what happens. Alright guys, I am back. So I was in there forever. Here's what happened. Had that meeting, and then the other meeting was canceled, and then someone else wanted to have a meeting with me. So before they set it up, I put a big block on my calendar, blocked it off so that I couldn't put a meeting there, or they couldn't try to put a meeting there, so I can go in and play. So I walk in and look at one slot machine. Yeah, it's okay. lost like $30 or $40. Find another machine, and this one, if you'll recall me talking about this machine where it's just been insanely bad lately, and I've checked like this will be the fourth, I think, location, and played it, and it's been the same at all of them. And I saw it, and it was ready to go, and I decided to play it. It was going to be a commitment. It was going to be, 400 or 500 spins before it hit. And there are a few machines out there that are not exactly must-hit buys. You could end up with very little at the end. And this was one of them. And I was in the machine at $3 a spin. I was involved for $900 in this machine and ended up paying very little. And by the time I left, I was down $678 on the machine. So yeah, that really made my day there. Minus 687. Now I know for sure an update has happened on this machine. I know exactly what the update is. I know everything now. So it's all been confirmed. There's no way around it. I know exactly what's happening. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. Most likely, I won't play this machine hardly at all anymore. I used to play it every day, and now it's at the point where it's almost unplayable. It's so hard to make any money at it. I ended up down, 240 units, 245 units on that thing, so that's very bad. Anyway, so I decided to go play some blackjack. It's going to be a fun day of blackjack. I'm going to get the money back at blackjack, and I had an issue right away. So I only brought like 15,000 with me today, which I know sounds like a lot, but it's not. The problem is I was going to bring chips with me because I have so many chips at the location I just left. But I forgot them at home because my kid missed the bus and I had to run out the door to get him to school 3 minutes before the deadline to get to school before they get in trouble for being late. So I played with cash. I bought in for 500 and started playing, and immediately tons of blackjacks for the dealer. My 500 evaporated in 30 seconds. Now I'm spreading from 50 to 1,000 on this table. All still negative counts, nothing going on yet, and I lost it all. Rebuy for another 500, and then another 5, and another 5, and pretty soon I knew it was going to be a long one. It was going to be a struggle, right? So I was soon involved for a total of $6,500 because, and I say that I don't say like I was involved for 2, then 3, then 5, because it all happened at once. I was involved 6,500 like in no time, and I've got like 400 in front of me, and I know where I'm at. I'm not worried about it. I know I can get it back, but I'm concerned that no matter what happens here, if I lose it or if I get it back, I'm not going to have a lot of money for the other casinos. And so it started to struggle back and started to make some headway. And I was at that table for a total of 4 hours, and about 3 hours into it, I was 600 away from even. Then I went on a big negative downturn, huge negative downturn, and what was down to about 3,000 left. So now I'm back to struggling again. I start picking it back up again. I get within like 1,200, and the shoe ends. Start the next shoe. I've got 5,000 in front of me, and just a horrendous shoe. Win maybe 8 hands, but the count was going up, so it was getting expensive. I finish that shoe and start the next shoe, and I'm down to $2,000. And the first hand, I get a 20. The dealer gets a blackjack. Second hand, I get a 20. Dealer gets a blackjack. Third hand, I get a 20. Dealer gets a 20. So I'm like, oh God, here we go. negative shoe after all this time. I still don't have a opportunity to build it up and everything. So I started to play, continued on, and the count started going up. I raised to 200. Count kept going up. I raised to 300. I won, like, I would say 18 out of 21 hands, and got all the way to even, and blew past even, and ended the shoe ahead $1,000. A guy came to the table right before the shoe ended, and he says, you mind if I join the table? I said, please. I said, I was down a fortune. I just need a few more hands. And I finished out the shoe, and I left ahead $1,000. So I actually got 7,500 in chips. So a couple things about that shoe, that table. Incredible luck for the dealers, incredible variance for the dealers, and so many shoes had 7, 8 blackjacks for the dealer and 0 for me. And that was a huge thing. When you're getting crushed like that, you don't have a shot. I mean, it's total punishment is what was going on there. And there was one hand I remember in particular. The dealer had Ace 2, which is 13, Ace 2, which is 16, Jack 5 for a 21 to be a $400 20 that I had out there. I had 2 face cards. I don't remember which 2, but his last 2 cards were both clubs. I remember that. Jack of clubs, 5 of clubs. And it was like one of those stabs in the heart, you know? And I remember there was another really bad hand that really hurt me. I had a $400 double down. That one killed me. Not because I lost a $400 double down, just the way that it happened. I don't remember exactly what I had, but the dealer got, like, it was 2, 2, 2, 6, which is a 12, 2, Ace, 5, I think so. It was like a 20, I think, or 21. Maybe it was a 6 at the end. But to have, it's like, and I had my big bets out there, and it's like, so I have the big bets out. There should be a lot more larger cards out there coming out. They get 2, 2, 2, 2. You know, it's like those are the hands that you know so much more than the dealers or the pit bosses do. You know what's going on. They're like, well, what's the big deal? You lost the hand. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it happens all the time. It's like, no, it doesn't happen all the time, because I know the odds here, and I know what you just did here is the most incredible BS, you know, and it hurts as a player to have that happen to you and get punished that way. I did have one dealer mistake that I noticed. I actually noticed 2 dealer mistakes. One was I had a push on a 20, and the dealer took my money, and I said, put it back. And he gave it back to me. And I had another hand where I had 2 face cards, and the dealer flipped over a blackjack, and he pushed me, and he went on, and I didn't say a word. And that was on a negative count, so I had a minimum bet out there on that one. But yeah, so a lot of craziness. And another thing, dealer told me that one of my favorite people in this casino, one that's actually helped me cash out chips before, she's just a regular player. She's not an AP by any means, but she hates the casino and wanted to do anything that she could to help me out. And there was one day where I had like 10 or 9,000 in chips, something like that. I needed to cash out, and I cashed out what I could. And then she's like, "Oh, I'll help you out. Just come to my car." I went over to her car. I handed her like 5,000 or 6,000 in chips. She handed me a stack of money, and we went on our way. It was like no big deal. But she is very aggressive, let's just say, with the dealers. And she got in trouble for actually spitting at a dealer. So she would always F this, F that, F this place, F you guys, you know, all that stuff, which is all fine. I wouldn't put up with it as a casino, but they did because she loses so much. But once she started with bodily fluids, so to speak, then they told her she can't come back. So unfortunately, because that was one of my favorite people there, because they were so comical. Whether they were winning or losing, they were very comical. So, all right, guys. So the problem now is I could only cash out $2,000, and I'm walking with $5,500 in chips. So, not bringing a lot of money to the city because I was going to bring $8,000 in chips with me backfired on me, and now I don't have that much money to play. So I'm going to go into this next casino, look around. It's already getting late in the day. I'm like ashamed of myself this week how I haven't been able to play and make money, but I'm going to look at some machines and see what I can do, and then decide whether or not I want to play blackjack or not. If so, it would probably be like a 50 to 500 spread. So letting it go for now. I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. Oh man, I'm in a time crunch. I have to head home to pick up one of my kids because I've got 2 or 3 kids at practice, and they're all in different locations and they end near the same time. So I was going to stop at one other place near here. Was probably going to spend over an hour in there. I don't have that much time though, and it's rush hour already, so it's not going to be good if I do that. All right, let's start with what happened in there. I go into this other casino, and it is completely packed like sardines. And what day is it, everyone? It's Thursday, the day they give stuff away. So, of course, everyone and their mother and their mother's brother are here to pick up their free doodad, or I don't know, who's it, or whatever it is that they're giving away. Actually, I think they were giving away some kind of bath towel or something like that. So, anyway, everybody was here. They had one working elevator. They have a parking garage that has, I don't know how many floors, 8, 10, 12 floors. Huge structure. And one working elevator. So every elevator going down is completely full because people stood there and waited so long that they realized that they should push up instead of down and get the elevator on its way up and then ride it back down again. So anyway, I waited around. Eventually everyone around me took the steps and I was able to get on the elevator. Walked into this place and it was mobbed, completely packed. I found a machine that I play this machine, but only a certain way, and it was available 2 different ways. I ended up playing both ways, and ended up, the way I normally don't play, I lost $140, and the way I normally do play, I won $80 or so. I was down like $60 or something like that. Moved on, looked around, didn't really see much. There's a lot of other people in here checking machines, so I knew I was barking up the wrong tree there. So I decided to go play some blackjack, and I thought, well, let me see how much time I have. I got about an hour and a half before I have to start heading back toward home because I spent so much time at the other place. So I said, I'll just go play some blackjack, spend an hour or so back there, and then move on. Then I get a text message from my wife, so-and-so needs to be picked up at this time. And I look at the clock and I'm like, oh man, that gives me less than an hour. So, I mean, my drive is so long to get to where I am today. Not only is it long, but then the one casino was closed. So, right now I'm heading, okay, so I ended up going back and playing blackjack anyway. But I thought, man, if there's anyone on the tables, I'm not going to play. I don't want to get bogged down and then be stuck and not be able to leave. I get there, and a guy that I know, my cuz, was back there, and he was at the table. I don't know if he'd already started playing or not. I think he had. And he said, "Hey, Joe, how's it going?" I said, "Good, cuz." And he said, well, "You can sit down if you want, I don't mind." And I said, "Man, this other place just killed me today," which they did. I mean, I ended up ahead, but it was a rough journey. So I said, okay, I'm going to play, but only for a few minutes, and then I got to get out of here. And he said, okay. I started playing. Count immediately goes negative on the first hand, second hand, third hand, fourth. It's negative. So it's like a running minus whatever, minus your mother. I have no idea what it was, but it was negative. And I was up 500 exactly, and I thought, when I first sat down, I said, yeah, if I win a quick 500, I'll get out of here. I was ahead 500, so I ended up leaving plus 500 on negative counts. Never had a positive count. My low for the session was minus 100. My high was plus 500, and I had one or two double downs that I believe I pushed them both or something like that. Anyway, I ended up leaving there plus 500 on the blackjack. Decided to take one more sweep of the slots, and they took me for another ride. It was like down and up and down and up, and had a big loss on one and a decent win on the other one, and I ended up ahead $15 on the slots. So plus 15 on slots, minus plus 500 on the blackjack. Did you notice when I had a loss, it was a big loss. When I had a gain of the same amount, it was a small gain. That's the way that people think like us. So anyway, I'm moving on to the next place. There was another place nearby that I was going to hit. I decided to skip it for a few reasons. Number one, their slot selection is very slimmed down right now. Number two, their table selection is not great right now. There is a decent high limit area. Penetration is okay, but again, I'm out of time, so I'm letting it go. Okay, so brings up a couple things. Today, a new dealer I'd never seen before. He gave me about, him and the original dealer from this morning gave me penetration of about 1.25 to like 1.3, 1.4. Okay, so somewhere in that range. The brake runner was giving me half a deck. You don't get half a deck in the city. You get 1.25. If you're lucky, you get one. But he was giving me half a deck. And amazingly, the shoes that I lost the most on were the half deck shoes. And why is that? Because the less cards you have left, the more variance you're going to have. The more cards you play, the more variance you're going to have. So anyway, I don't want to go through all that again. I've talked about it before, and you can listen to those episodes. So right now, I haven't eaten. I'm going to head toward the next casino. They're not supposed to be open when I get there yet, but I might luck out. They might be open. Either way, I'm going to go that direction, and I'll eat in that city, and then we'll go from there. So letting you go for now, and I'll be back to update you shortly. All right, guys, I want to talk about a few things here. The first casino I was at, I want to address this because I don't want someone else to get caught and then have problems later on because of this. First of all, let me just say about this dealer. The second dealer I got thought he knew everything about everything. He's been dealing for whatever, 24 years or something. Those are the biggest idiots you've ever seen. They know less than anyone else. I just want to let you know, the longer they've been in that environment, the more stupid they become. So be careful following what they say. He kept telling me to bet the side bet, and it came up every once in a while, but you keep on saying the same thing over and over again, eventually it is going to come up, and if you keep playing it over and over again, you're eventually going to win it. The problem is how much are you going to lose along the way, and that's the big thing. And he always, whenever I'm drawing a card and I need a face card, he'd say Queen of Hearts every single time. And he told me, he even said, if I say it enough times, it's eventually going to happen. I'm like, yeah, because if you keep varying it, if you have the same one every single time, then obviously 1 out of every 52 times, approximately, it's going to hit. And the same thing with these side bets. He really was pushing me on these side bets. And then the pit boss comes over, and he sees I would have hit a side bet, and he said to the dealer, why didn't you tell him to play it? And he said, I just gave up on it. He doesn't want to play it. But I'm not stupid, so anyway. And I've done an episode on the side bet that they have too. So when I was on my way back up, so I was involved for 6,500. I colored up a total of 7,500, and I'm playing a minimum of $50 a hand. Don't you think it would look pretty, excuse me, pretty bad to have 300 $25 chips in front of me? I mean, think about the image that would, like, how is this guy building up from a few $100s in green chips to 300, all our green chips and more? Yeah, that would be a little suspicious. So once I got to about 3,000, I colored up 1,000 in $500 chips. Once then I had a really good shoe. At one point it got me up to like 4,000 in front of me, not including what was in my pocket. I colored up 2,000 in $500 chips. Every once in a while, once or twice, I needed to dip into my pocket. That was okay. The key is, you're up in surveillance. You're looking down at this guy. He's been playing for 4 hours. An hour ago, he had $300 in chips in front of him. Now he has $7,500 in chips. Do you think you might want to take a look at this? I think you might. So I just want to let you guys know, I'm not talking about rat holing, because there was no one else at the table. If you don't know what rat holing is, there's an episode about it. Search it. I'm talking about just putting money out of the way so it's not visible. And I'm not hiding it. They know how much I have. But the less that's on the table, both the dealer, the pit boss, and even surveillance, it's better for them to see less on the table. Just keep that in mind. I see other people doing it. Ploppy's doing it. And so it's not an unusual thing. And I always say something like, oh my gosh, I was down to my last money. I got to put this back in my pocket. Please don't let me get it back out again. Or some stupid thing like that. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He's trying to limit his losses. And I even said at one point, all right, if I lose everything on the table here, at least I'll only go home down a couple thousand. Oh, that's pretty smart of you to do that. So, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you're keeping them from being suspicious, that's the biggest thing. So I just wanted to mention that. If you already know, sorry I wasted your time, but otherwise, hopefully you got something out of that. All right, guys, I am about 15 minutes away from my next stop. I remembered something else that happened today. So there's a guy that I see in all these area casinos. He's a doctor, and he is a total ass. And he will always criticize your play, criticize your betting, criticize everything. And he's not a good player, and he's not a good bettor. He has no clue what he's doing. He's not counting cards. But I will see him around these casinos all the time. And he has lines of credit at all these casinos, and he'll get a marker for $10,000 generally. And he'll play till he wins 1,000 or 2, and then he'll leave. Some days he'll get buried and he'll lose it all. But that's the way that he does things. I don't think he plays side bets. No, I think he just plays the blackjack hands. But I saw him at the first casino I went to today, and I said to the pit boss, I said, I'll tip this dealer $1,000 right now if you tell that guy he's not allowed to play here today. And the dealer looked at me for a second, and he goes, I know he's an ass, but I can't do that to him. So I thought you'd like to hear about that. But the guy he's always criticizing you, and he'll try to close you out of the table too. So if you get up and leave for a second and come back, your chips are still at the table, he'll try to make it a reserve table, and he's just awful. So anyway, I'll be at this place here shortly, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I'm back. I get to this place about 45 minutes before they were supposed to open again, and it's open. There's people in there. There's people playing. I walk in, start looking around. The first couple machines, nothing. Then a machine that I've recently recalibrated to fit into the new parameters of the machine, and wouldn't you know it, it worked. And I was involved in that machine for about $67. I think I was down when I finally hit, and I hit for $1,025 on that one. Moved on, looked at some other stuff, found another machine that was in decent shape, and just played that through. I believe I spun that one about 45 times. It was $1 a spin, and that one paid out $162. So a little here, a little there, and I ended up leaving the casino ahead $1,115 just on slot machines in 20 minutes. So in and out in 20 minutes. The thing to remember always, if you're doing the right thing, whether it's working or not, in the long run, it is going to work. You just have to be patient. So I can't stress it enough. It's hard when you're in a gold mine and you're digging for gold and all you see is black all around you, and you have no clue where the gold is. It might be an inch away from you, it might be a mile away from you, and if you quit when it's an inch away from you, someone else is going to come around and they're going to scoop it up and they're going to take your gold. And that's what's going on here. You can't let other people take your gold. If you're available, if you're able to play, if you're able to do it the right way and get the most possible expected value, then you'll get the actual value. So I can't stress it enough. I had some free food in there. I got a couple slices of pizza, I got a Monster drink, and I'm heading toward home. Had a good day today. It started off extremely rough. Think about it. I travel hours to a casino and it's closed, and then another hour to a casino, and right away I'm down $700, as much as $900 right away. I get up off the slot machines, I move to blackjack, and I'm down as much as $6,100. And now I'm coming home and I'm ahead over $2,000. And it's just, I only went to 3 of the 5 stops for the day. My goal was 2,000 or 3,000. And here we are. We got the 3,000. We got the 2,000. Maybe not 3, but not bad for 3 short stops. Well, 1 long stop and 2 short stops, and it all worked out. So I didn't mention anything about weather today. It's been nice all day. It's been cloudy, gloomy, but the key here is the temperature has been 37 to 40 degrees the whole time. All that snow I talked about this morning is gone now, and it's all right. So not too stressed. I'm on my way home. I need to stop and get gas again. I know I just got gas this morning, but I'm almost completely out of gas, and I still have hours till I get home. So I'm going to stop and do that. And tomorrow, I don't know where I'm going to go. The whole schedule was screwed up. I'm going to work on my job duties tonight, maybe 3 or 4 hours tonight, and then see how I feel, and then look at any offers I might have and go from there. Today I only had $30 in offers, but whatever. It's not going to change if I'm going to go somewhere or not, but I might tweak things a little bit if it's good enough of an offer. So for now, I'm letting you go. If you have any questions or comments, the email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.